I'm not going to spend a lot of time with this intro today because I just did a podcast that I'm vibrating in ecstasy over because it was so fucking awesome. But before we get to the podcast, I'm going to do this really quick. Real quick. I got a call from Adam and Eve. A conference call. The guy's name's Adam Fenellini, and of course his wife's name is Eve Fenellini. They're fucking... I'm not sure if they're in the mafia, but they sound dangerous. They weren't joking. They said that apparently you guys are still not buying the requisite number of butt plugs, vibrators, dildos, lubricant, fisting gloves, those offal shields that you wrap around your face, black scaled boots with spurs, all the wonderful sex toys that they have at adamandeve.com that you get 50% off of and free delivery and 3 free primitive storage devices, which we call DVDs, all for you. You guys got to get to the internet now. Because they weren't fucking kidding. They asked me if I was allergic to dirt. They asked me if I needed oxygen to survive. They asked me how much blood I thought I had in my body versus how much blood I could live without if it was in a kiddie pool. They said they want to fill a kiddie pool with my blood, and they want to fill it with butt plugs and sell those butt plugs. Now imbued with some kind of energy, they say, comes from blood. They're freaks, man. They run up... You gotta go to adamandeve.com. Buy one of these sex toys. You get 50% off. 50% off. You can resell these things. Go down, buy a bunch of these fucking things, sell them in front of a museum next to the hot dog guy. People going to museums love to fuck. Please, make the move. Okay?
Go to adamandeve.com and enter the name Duncan at checkout. You get half off sex toys and double the orgasms.
And to all of you who have been so kind as to donate to the Duncan Trussell Family Hour, God bless you. Thank you so much for your kind and generous donations. And I have the audacity to ask for something more than your donations. I want you to donate your time and your attention and your stories to the Duncan Trussell Family Hour Forum located at duncantrussell.com. A website that has grown so quickly that it has crashed our servers multiple times and has also apparently at one point been assailed by hackers. Sucks. But I suppose that's what happens when you start extruding any attempt at positivia. Positivia, it's like for people who can't pee. It's like what Activia is for people who can't pee. I'll leave it in there. I'm too lazy to delete it. Anytime you start shining the light, the fucking bugs come, I guess. I guess that's just how it works. And I'm not saying I'm shining some perfect bright light. I sell sex toys. I fucking wander the bars of Atwater, mumbling clumsily to girls. But where I failed, the Duncan Trussell family prevails. Because there's some really cool, brilliant people there. And if you feel the pull, join the forum. It's not like we're going to fucking keep you there. We're not going to handcuff you in a basement. We're not going to... There's no invitation to join a commune. It's just a bunch of really smart, fun people having awesome conversations. Which I would like you to take, please. Now, the guest that I have today for you is hanging out with this guy. You kind of feel like it reminds me of like when it's a really hot summer day and you walk into the deep air conditioned coolness of an industrial mall area. That's the worst description ever. There's so many better ways. I could have just said he's a cool glass of lemonade on a hot summer day. That's what he is. I'll use someone else's term for this. He's a super funny comedian who has numerous TV credits, which he all deserves, including a Comedy Central special. And I have no doubt that within the next year or so, he's going to have his own show. So he's definitely going to have some kind of massive acceleration that's going to happen to him. So I was lucky to get him on the Duncan Trussell Family Hour now, because I got the feeling that I was talking to someone who is experiencing what it's like to be pulled all the way back in the fame boomerang. He's already got his own special, already a character in Ugly Americans, but that fucking thing's about the hand of Satan or God that's holding him, it's about to let go and send him flying at warp speed into Russell Brand land. The land where you get on stage and people start slipping on the vaginal secretions that are being blasted out of the pussies of every woman in the audience, because your potent positivity mixing in with your edginess, mixing in with your genius comedy, causes their vaginas to turn into Niagara Falls. It happens when Russell Brand gets on stage. Girls have seizures. They have to have a fucking tent like they have at Burning Man for all the girls who just start freaking out and frothing at the mouth and have to be massaged back down to a state where they can drive home just from seeing him. Pete Holmes, he's on his way there. And I got to spend a little time with him on that journey. And this is that conversation. The Duncan Trussell Family Hour welcomes to the family comedian Pete Holmes. Check out his podcast, You Made It Weird. There'll be links at the Go Deeper section, the comments section on the website. I love you guys. Hare Krishna.
It's the Duncan Trussell family.
One of the funniest comedians on the planet, with several jokes that I consider masterpieces in the world of comedy. Can I play your Facebook joke?
You can play whatever joke.
Okay, I'm gonna play that Facebook joke. That's a masterpiece.
To be honest with you guys, I'm happy to be out of the house after the 18 hours of Facebookery this afternoon. Yep, just the 18 hours for me today. I have no memory of what I was doing before Facebook. What was something was there. I was doing, what was it, tilling wheat? What was I doing? Now it's just Facebook. And I like it, but I have a theory about it that you can use in your own conversations if there's ever a lull. I think the government made Facebook in an attempt to make privacy uncool. I don't think about that. I think that's true. Because they don't have to tap our phones or survey us. We would just yield to them everything. Just on our own free will, just like home address. It's a little weird, okay. Phone number, call me. Photos? Photos of everyone I know? Here, let me tag those for you. That's Adam. He deals weed.
Pete Holmes!
God, we've been talking for like 10 minutes. Oh, can I take it out?
Yes, you can.
We've been talking for like 10 minutes. Is this okay, level-wise? And like, how many times did I say, save it for the podcast?
A bunch of
Save it
times.
for air, man.
But that's what happens when you're with cool people, is that,
Yeah,
and
but
by
when
that
does
I mean you're
happen?
cool.
Yeah.
You end up getting in great conversations. You know, the plague of the world is that so many people allow themselves to be surrounded by vampires, and so they end up lost in a series of shit conversations. Their whole life is
my
one
God.
shit conversation to the next,
Ah.
to the next, to the next. to the next,
Yes.
to the next, until they're on their deathbed. And that's the one real conversation they have is right before they're died. They finally say, I love you so much, I don't want you to die. And then you die.
Oh my God! This is a free podcast.
Yeah.
Already worth $10.
Yeah, send the money, guys. There's a donate button if you're,
Is there?
if you're on
You
your deathbed.
should.
If you're on your deathbed, donate.
Vampires.
Yeah, vampires.
I have a lot of material about if you're in a horrible conversation, how to get out of it. And I'm not alone. Jerry
Right.
Seinfeld actually has a really funny bit, now that I think about it, where he's like, if he's ever in like an asinine discussion with somebody, he's always thinking, what if I just dove out the window right now? Dove out the window on the second floor, rolled on the grass, and just came back up and resumed the conversation.
Yeah.
It's that, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't think it's just comedians. I think it's a large number of us that are just like intolerant of horrible,
Yes.
horrible
Personalities.
personalities, just like an artificial person that isn't showing you who they really are. You're not getting. We were just talking about the right time to kiss a girl
Yes.
and the pheromone that's released.
Yes.
Something's happening. You
Yeah.
smell it and you're like, well, I'm going to act on this.
Yeah.
And some people conversationally just aren't releasing any pheromones.
Anything.
They're
It is
just
blank.
blocked off.
Blank walls.
It's so sad.
Just a blank,
Oh,
blank nothing.
it's
It is
tragic. It's tragic. It's a disease.
But you know what? I will take a closed off person who's not releasing any pheromones for the opposite of that, which is a person who's just an asshole. You know what I mean? The mean person.
Yes.
The mean person who's like in a conversation where you're with it. This is something I've been thinking about lately. You know, like the people who go, "Did you just get out of the shower?" You know what I'm talking about? Like, oh, was your hair wet? Did you just get out of the shower? Is your hair wet?
Is that something you get?
Yeah, because I'll get out of the because sometimes I don't shower my. I'll just I don't think about it. I get out of the shower, my hair's wet.
Yes.
I'll go somewhere and this is like, hey, we should just get out of the shower. Hair's wet. Hair's wet.
That guy.
That guy.
I think it's funny that we call those guys dicks.
Dicks.
That's what I was thinking. There's something. It's perfect.
Yeah,
They're a big dick.
just a dick.
Fucking everything.
Bad personality, and their friends who they've been horrifying, and they've been a kind of open ulcer in a social circle for years and years. Their friends, when you mention that guy's a dick, they're like, no, you'll get used to it. You'll get used to Jason.
Just yield to it.
You'll totally get used to him. Yeah, no. He's a weird personality, you know, but he's
Yes.
it's like, no, he's
Yes.
a dick, and he needs to be corrected. Because if he had bad breath,
Yes.
totally wouldn't be tolerated. You know what I mean? Like if he had stinky, awful breath,
Yep. Someone would tell
someone
him.
would be like, you should brush your teeth more.
I'm a nose hair person. How do you tell your guy friends that they have horrible nose hair?
Just say it.
Fucking A, man. You're like Kramer. I need help, Duncan.
Say
Can
it.
I be like you?
Do you have a nose hair? If let me tell you, if the worst problem among your friends is nose hair,
Yes.
you're doing great, man.
Yeah, that's true. I have a delightful friend, and I just wanted to be like, yeah, you know what? I'll do it.
Tell him on the air. Tell him right now.
No
I'm
fucking
just kidding.
way. That would be so humiliating.
Brendan Walsh.
Ah, that's a good guess
Yeah.
of who it could be. His nose hair just merges into the
Yeah.
mustache. There's no end to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just it is his mustache. It's just his
It's-
nose hair
oh my
running down
God.
like a waterfall over his lips of pubic hair.
You just get out of the shower.
Just go shower, bro.
What is that in aid of?
What that is it's a form of suppression. It's a form of it's a dominance thing. So
Is it?
Oh yeah.
It's like an alpha thing.
It's an alpha thing. They're trying to dominate you by making you submit because the only way you can respond. There's two ways you can respond to that.
You thought about
Because
it.
your hair is wet.
Yes.
So you either say, yeah, I did. I
Right.
did just get out of the shower.
Right.
Or and then you have to do this thing like, yeah, I know. I guess I should have timed
Right.
the shower better. Is
Right.
that what you're saying? That you don't like my shower timing?
Are you criticizing how I planned my evening
Yeah.
in regards to showering?
Yeah, that's
I'm
it.
sorry I didn't dry off.
Yeah.
He's basically calling you weak or something.
Yeah.
And I guess the only way to spin it in some sort of junior high instinct that I'm having is it would only work in junior high. Like, yeah, I showered. What, you don't shower? Like, to
Yeah.
kind of like put it back
So
on
now
him.
you're forced to sling the negativity back.
Right,
So
exactly.
now you're involved in the contagion. That
Yes.
because he's festering, and
Right.
the moment you throw it back to him, you're festering, and now you're both festering. So now you've gotten infected by his foulness.
Right, yes.
So that's
But that's a loss in itself, is participating in that sort of negativity.
Yeah.
But like, I'm thinking about movies, something about like the way that guys fence with each other. In that scene, if you're the hero, and we want to make you likable.
Yeah.
Someone says, "What did you just get out of the shower?" And there are girls there. That's important.
Yeah.
You say something perfect.
Right.
You say something that's not negative, but is hilarious, self-effacing maybe, and also charming.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But you say it, the girls laugh and they go with you, and Dickbag is left in his Letterman jacket.
Yeah. Well, that would be awesome in that fantasy world, but
In reality,
you're just with a dick, and you're probably gonna hang out with that person for the rest of the night. And they're gonna do stupid shit all night. And by the end of the night, you'll come home feeling like you just got dragged through the mud.
Yeah.
The only solution to this is like courageously, abandoning people like that from your life and cutting them out completely, and relegating them to the fringes of society.
That's very Levitical of you. That
It's
sounds like an old
Levitical.
Jewish law.
Yeah.
Douchebags will be exiled
Yes.
exiled from the town.
That's right. They must be. You got to
Or stoned.
Tar and feathered. They need to be driven into the
Humiliated.
and driven into the forest. And that's where they belong, because for so long our society is become so acceptant to the fucking dicks of the world. And listen, I'm like all the there's people who like parade up and down the street at soldiers' funerals, angry at homosexuals. If we could apply that same energy to people who ask if you just took a shower, like it's that.
You're applauding the energy behind the God Hates Fags movement. It's just misplaced. Let's
Energy.
take that away from soldiers and whatever and put it on the douchebags. What I'm wondering is what they do while they're all together. We put them on the outskirts of town, and do they just stand in a circle and ask who just showered?
Yeah. That's what they do.
It's hard to tell when you have a crew cut, though.
They have
That dries instantly.
They try to dominate each other. They do stupid jokes, or they like.
See, I bet you have. I've said this about you, is that you're one of the most interesting people in the world.
Thank you.
I love you.
I love you too.
You're a jukebox, and you put a point in on any topic, and you have. That's what I fucking am looking for. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I need people who have opinions. I can't stand opinionless. And you know why? Because I have spent a lot of my life opinionless, because I'm so terrified of offending someone. I still do it.
Yeah.
So I'll just be like leaving a movie, there's the kind of guy that leaves and you're like, what did you think? Like, if you're like, what did you like the movie? And I'm like, what did you think? And they see what they thought first. Yeah. Trying to get over that. Fucking own it. I didn't like the movie. Yeah. And then just deal with the repercussions. Yeah. It doesn't make me a bad person. Yeah. Anyway, what I wanted to ask you about was crew cuts. Yeah. There has to be something you think about crew cuts, because we were talking about how humans are like bonobos. Yeah. And what the crew cut, because you're an interesting person. You have a beard. Yeah. And you have longer hair. Yeah. And a crew cut seems to be like this rebellion against, like, you look more like a man in the wild. Right. Like a natural person, I suppose. Yeah. And a crew cut is almost like a machine did this. Sure. Like, it looks like a machine. Yeah. There were no crew cuts in medieval times. Well, they didn't have the technology. They couldn't do it. They didn't have it. We don't have. What are they going to fucking use? The crew cut technology. They'd have to use a sword, or I guess they had sharp. I was picturing swords. They had sharp blades, I guess. Flames. Well, they had, and the crew cuts would have been very flames. That's how they used to cut hair in medieval times. They just shove your fucking head into a fire. What you do is you'd shave your head, and at 3 weeks for a month, you'd have a perfect crew cut, and people would be like, "How did you do that?" And you're like, "Well, you got to start from zero. You got to take it all off, because we don't have." Yeah, right. He says, "Because we don't have the technology." How is he aware that there will one day? That's how one day we will have the technology to do crew cuts, but we don't have it yet. But in the same way we think we might have time machines one day, back then people would fantasize Duncan, about the era of crew cuts. Can I tell you something insane? Sure. I was just thinking about time travel. Maybe it's because I thought we were doing this. Yeah. Or knew we were doing this. But I was driving here, and I was like, it's weird to think that I would be a crazy person, and I bet you won't think I'm a crazy person, if I say that maybe this is the whole thought. Yeah. I'm sorry that I'm a little scared. No. I would like to be the kind of person people travel back in time to see. That's the thought I have. Yeah. I know that's insane, but like, it's great. It's also great. What a great thing to want. It's a healthy ego sort of appreciation of myself. Beautiful. I'd really like people to be like, can you imagine going back and just watching Pete eat at a diner or whatever? Like, how would he talk to a waitress? Yeah. That is interesting in the way that I think about people from the past. Sure. Like, can you imagine seeing that guy? So then I started thinking, what if people are coming back and seeing me? And then what if it's just like, you can go back in time, but people understand the premium is on not appearing as if you're traveling through time. People are aware that will
Yeah.
really fuck shit up.
Yes.
So they blend in perfectly.
Yep.
I see people all the time who I'm just like, who's that guy?
Right.
And then I was like, oh, I'm having a crazy thought. This is like something that you say, and people are like, you're insane. Like, that's a crazy thing.
Schizophrenic.
Exactly. It's you
Your
can't.
mind's fragmenting.
Yeah. You
That's
said
what they
that to me
say.
once. You went, your third eye is opening up. You
Yeah,
that
I've
to me
said
once.
that.
You
That's
said
true.
that to
When
me.
your third eye starts opening up, you begin to have thoughts like what you're having right now.
Yeah.
And then the response from the vampires inevitably is you've gone nuts.
The vampire.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got with that. Okay, I think my therapist would say paranoid people. You can't really console them because you can't prove that a jet engine isn't going to fall on them right now. You can't.
Nope.
But you make a psychological decision to not worry about that all the time.
Right.
But you get in a problem where you start debating with them because you can't prove it.
Yeah.
You can't prove that people aren't talking shit about you
Right.
right now, currently. So you can worry about that or move on. But there's also, where was I going with that?
I think I could prove that people are talking shit about me right now, I imagine.
Yeah. You mean how?
Because
Oh, online?
You too, man. It would be pretty easy. All I have to do is
Yeah.
go on any fucking video. I play anything.
So that's true. That's provable.
Yeah.
But then the thing that sounds crazy is like you can't prove I'm wrong.
Sure.
You also can't prove that, lots of things.
Prove you're wrong about the idea that there
that
could
I
be time
see
travel.
that there are time travelers. I used to, and I'm not saying that I think that. I'm covering my tracks because I don't
Well,
want
no,
to
it's a thought. I call these things thought experiments. It's like in the laboratory of your mind, you do thought experiments.
It's a thought experiment.
It's a thought experiment. It's so fun.
I
It's
just
so
let
fun
the
to do.
line out a little bit. I still feel the rope in my hand, but it's atop my hand and it's burning a little bit. And I want to close my hand and bring it back.
No way. Let it go all
Let
the
it-
way out. Let the rope get sucked away. You want to get sucked out into the deep water, man. That's the idea.
I do.
That's where you got to go. See, the vampires, they'll keep you in the fucking harbor of sorrows. They'll convince you you can't sail your ship into the deep waters. They'll try to keep your fucking anchor down.
Well, this is what we were talking about off mic, is the idea that I was raised Christian. And
Yeah.
I'm very interested in your thoughts on that, because that is a means to kind of keep me in a certain system of thought.
Right.
Which is like, I'm not saying that Christians don't think things like maybe they're time travelers. I don't think that's exclusive.
It depends on the branch
faith.
of Christianity.
I guess.
Well, no guessing about it. I mean, if you get into I've just been reading this great book called Magic, Marijuana, and I can't remember. It's right over there. It's an excellent book. I found it's a rare book, but it's the premise that most world religions have their roots in.
Sorry, I'm writing a short story where a young boy comes into your house and reads all your books and his mind's exploded. I was just like, you just took me out.
One day that will be my son. I want to have a kid. But not to get to that point, the idea is a lot of religions have their roots in psychedelics, and Christianity too. And so Gnostic Christianity. Have you ever gone to a Gnostic Christian church service?
No. What do you mean? What does that mean?
Gnostic
just
Christianity means gnosis. Gnosis means the idea of true contact with contact with truth. It means contact with truth. So what you have in Christianity, in a lot of different forms of Christianity, is not the invitation to connect with real truth. It's the invitation to connect with a symbol system. So it's like fucking the difference between going swimming and reading about going swimming. It's two different things.
So the Gnostic one is we're just going to read about
The
going
Gnostic
swimming?
one's like you got to make contact with the higher intelligence, and it's a real thing. It's not it's like you really do it. Now, higher intelligence is something that is basically their idea is that this entire world is a veil,
Yes.
resting over the Christ energy. And so the world is concealing us at this very moment from Jesus being crucified on the cross, the Son of God, which represents the manifestation of consciousness into the infinite from the Big Bang, which we're all a part of, experiencing the moment of the crucifixion where Jesus looks into the air and says, "Father, why hast
I get into your Caviezel
why
voice.
hast thou forsaken me?"
Yes.
That's the existential moment of human experience. That's what all the existentialists wrote about when they said the essential component of a human being is nothingness, that we are just nothing. There's nothing to us. That's why we're called human beings. We have to act and define ourselves constantly for our own actions.
Yes.
Absurdity, and underneath it all is just emptiness, right? So Gnostic Christianity is this idea that that experience is literally the experience of the crucifixion, which we're all taking part of that awful sense of abandonment. We don't know where we're going. We don't know where we came from. We don't know what to do. And so it goes fucking deep, man. And
Like we're participating in Christ's bewilderment of that moment.
that moment, the idea is like, so now this is all of this is just symbol structures. It's all fingers pointing to something to try to get you out of the fucking harbor of sorrows and into the deep water, man. That's all it is.
I want out so bad. I don't think I'm in it, but you know, I take little dips into it. Of course.
Yeah.
Yes. Go on, please.
Well, no, I mean, so the idea, So the idea is that like, these are all symbols. So you've got the ideas. You have if there was a supreme intelligence in the universe, and if for whatever reason it incarnated in the form of some kind of perfect human, and if that person was in the process of dying or getting crucified, then the psychic energy being released from that moment would be a form of spiritual Big Bang that we're all still experiencing, which is why they, date. It's one of the major.
Oh, why we switched the calendar?
Yeah, because it's such a potent moment that it's reverberating through the collective mind of humanity. It really is. I mean, it's like wars are being fought over, and crazy shit's happening from this moment when this whatever this thing was happened. So, which we're all a part of. So the idea is, what's the next thing that Jesus says after Father, into your hands I commend? No, he says Father. Yeah, no, isn't the last thing he says, Father, into your hands I commend
My spirit.
Yeah.
He does say that, but then I'm pretty sure his last words were, "It is finished."
That's it. So that's the idea. That's the moment of enlightenment. So that's the idea of like, you start off, we're all following the same moment. If we're all of Christ being crucified, then our spiritual paths are taking the same sort of archetypical structure, where it starts off with this being flogged by the world, we're like being bounced around by a ping pong ball through circumstance, flogged down the street, flogged in our lives. We're helpless, empty things. Then we end up nailed to a fucking cross, surrounded by robbers, and of course the robbers represent the past and the future. So the past and the future, thinking about the past and thinking about the future, steals the time from the present. So it's like past, present, future. That's the symbol of.
Whoa.
And so then you're surrounded by robbers in the moment of truth, and then
What the fuck is happening?
fucking Gnostic Christianity, baby, come on! And then you fucking you end up having finally to take the ultimate